Diddy's attorney Mark Egio has just released a statement addressing all the allegations Kim Porter made against Diddy, in her leaked memoir. Kim Porter's friend is finally revealing the tapes Kim gave him before her death, and you are not going to believe what these tapes show.
Kim's Lost Words. It's currently a bestseller on Amazon, and it's filled with explosive claims that her 2018 death was due to foul play. Passages are filled with details of physical abuse, sexual coercion, and other acts of violence Combs allegedly committed against Kim. Now, their 4 kids are speaking out, denouncing it as lies. Quote, claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. The book, riddled with typos and written by a man using a pseudonym, contains alleged first-hand diaries and notes from Kim talking about Diddy, including, quote, out of nowhere, he hit me with a chair. I don't remember anything after that until I woke up in a hospital room. My arm was in a cast. As I came to, the first face I saw was of the man that put me here.
When I lost Kim, it broke my heart forever.
Was a house really a home when your loved ones is gone?
Diddy's lawyer calls the alleged memoir fake and offensive. It also marks the first time Quincy, Christian, and the twins, Jesse and Delilah, have spoken out since their father's arrest, saying, quote, the cause of her death has long been established. There was no foul play. According to the autopsy report, Kim died of natural causes from lobar pneumonia, which is an infection of the lung.
Diddy's relationship with Kim Porter lasted almost 2 decades, starting in the early 90s and finally ending in 2007. 11 years later, in 2018, Kim Porter died of pneumonia. However, Kim Porter's death was suspicious from the start. Diddy came out immediately and started talking about how much he loved her. The people around Diddy, on the other hand, said that Diddy's relationship with Kim Porter was abusive, and Diddy used to tee out Kim Porter to other men.
That smothering her with the pillows and all that, like he playing with her. I know she was tired.
Yeah, he also told Rolling Stone that Diddy, he's a jealous person that don't know what love is.
He knows that, bruh. Kim couldn't have nobody, bruh. Kim couldn't have nobody. You understand what I'm saying, bruh? Diddy could do whatever. Puff could do whatever he wanted to do. Brother Love could do whoever he wanted to be. If Kim ever tried to get with somebody, Puff would interfere with them or with her trying to be with them. He wouldn't let that happen. Unless he was bringing them to the picture. That's what he used Kim for, bro. He wanted to make a deal with somebody. He'll get another girl and a guy that he's trying to make a deal with, and him and Kim, they all party together, man. He used Kim for that shit, bro.
Wow, so he used Kim for that?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. You don't do that to somebody you're supposed to love, man.
Do you remember any situation where he used her for that?
I know a couple situations, but I know the people so well, man, and so good, and they some good people in Atlanta that had major groups that they party like that with them and their girls, or the girls they brought into that, and I'm not gonna mention their name, man. But they know who I'm talking about. I got a lot of respect for dude. But I know of situations. I've seen situations like that in the Swiss Hotel.
So what are some of the situations? Don't name the people, just what's the situation?
When he used Kim, to party with him and his girl and the other dude, and they switch up, they do their thing, they do all, they do that rock and roll lifestyle, bro.
So he was using her for sexual activity, like orgies and, threesomes and stuff like that.
Yeah. With other girls, other guys, yeah.
An unedited copy of Kim Porter's memoir has been submitted to the FBI by Courtney Burgess, along with 8 freak-off tapes and 11 flash drives. Courtney claims that he was given these tapes by Kim Porter before her death, and he has handed them over to the FBI after he was subpoenaed in a federal case. Kim Porter allegedly provided details of how Diddy was carrying out his trafficking in her book, and now this book is in the hands of the prosecutors.
And those statements include descriptions of what the witness says he saw on those tapes. So I asked him about that, and he answered what he could, given the limitations imposed on him after testifying before the grand jury. Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
This is going to be all speculation. I just want to preface it by he wouldn't know if they were. Right.
Sure.
Appear to
Let
be.
me rephrase it.
Based on, yes.
Understand. Out of the 8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs, how many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8, how many appear to be potentially victimized? How many might have been victimizing?
I think all, to be honest, all.
Were victims or were perpetrating?
Victims.
They were all 8 were victimized.
Yeah.
Meaning
Victim.
this was happening to them and they were inebriated.
Right. Not knowing, I guess, how much proof it was in it, what they was doing.
Sharing records. You made a lot of allegations, right? Are you expected to eventually turn those things over, or?
Well, that's what we're going to head over to do now. So we have a hearing now to determine what we're going to do in terms of what documents we'll have to turn over and what documents we do not.
So why were you in court today?
Just to give testimony to the grand jury. He was subpoenaed by the court. So as we all know, if you don't answer a subpoena, the marshals will come to your house as they came to his house and they bring you here. So that's why we're here today.
I know you can't mention celebrities per se. You did mention some in the interview. So just to clarify, you can back that up with actual factual footage.
We have, it's things that we have, but we got to go to the other courthouse. So I don't know if that's any more questions, but we got another hearing to go.
Are you nervous or do you feel? Nah, I ain't never nervous. Only thing scared me is God. I know you did mention what was on the flash drive before. Would you be able to kind of go over that now, or is that something that you can't discuss?
No, we're trying to discuss that now, what we will be able to talk to in terms of what was available and what was on those flash drives.
Okay.
But it was the book. So
it is Kim Porter's book, but not necessarily some of the stuff with the celebs that were mentioned besides.
It's hers. Nobody touched it.
Oh, so it is her official book.
Yes. Nobody.
And no one touched it.
Nobody altered it.
So it's not the copy that the gentleman said that he was selling before. No.
No.
It's 2 different copies. That one was edited, and we have the original.
Interestingly, some of the people that Diddy was forcing Cassie to have sex with have also come out in May of 2018. Jonathan A. was arrested in connection to a shooting that occurred at Trump's National Doral Golf Course in Miami. During an interrogation into Jonathan tried to shoot up Trump's golf course, he mentioned that Diddy was actually using him as a slave and the gay mafia in Hollywood was forcing him to commit crimes.
And Ross, which they good buddies, okay? They're gay.
Who?
Both. Diddy and Ross and Khaled, they're all gay. Okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
Khaled is a Hamas supporter. Okay.
Who supporter?
Hamas.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Sorry, I said it wrong.
No worries.
Hamas supporter. Okay. Right. I had sex with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would masturbate, tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot.
Hidden in plain sight.
It's hidden.
I think I see what you're saying.
Okay, how do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
Diddy's attorney has allegedly interviewed more than 49 witnesses that will be called to the stand against Diddy, and in his own words, the prosecutors don't have any tapes. This is actually a complete lie, because we've already seen the tapes showing Kevin Hart and Diddy along with Usher standing next to a hooker at a Diddy party. If it's really this easy for Diddy's lawyers to get caught lying, Diddy's never getting bail.
It's one victim and 49 witnesses who saw this behavior. That's pretty powerful, though, to have that many people who have, if they go to court and argue that they witnessed this behavior by your client.
Well, no.
What's your defense against that kind of behavior?
So my defense is very well established. I interviewed myself the different men who were being brought sort of into Mr. Combs and this person's intimate situation. I've flown around the country. I've interviewed a large number of them. There's not the slightest inkling, according to the interviews that I've done, of anything that's coercive, non-consensual. Nobody was too drunk. Nobody was too high. These were adults in a relation. This is a 10-year relationship. We can't forget that. This is a 10-year relationship. And it was adults and consensual, and everybody who was there wanted to be there. So I feel very confident in our position.
You said you interviewed the men, but what about the women?
I haven't interviewed the woman. The woman's not available to me. She's presumably a grand jury witness, and we would not. We cannot try to interview a grand jury witness.
You talked about. You said you're portraying this as adults who were at these events that wanted to be. I shouldn't even call them events. That's not certainly how anyone else would label it, but that they wanted to be there. But they also allege that they were recorded and essentially used as blackmail. Is that not true?
That's not true. That's not true.
How can you prove that when they have electronic evidence that, as they argue, over 90 cell phones, laptops, iCloud storage accounts, 30 electronic and storage devices, hard drives, thumb drives?
Yeah.
You're not worried about that?
No, because if they had it, they would have put it in the indictment.
Diddy, once the untouchable titan of hip-hop, is no stranger to controversy. Over the years, his infamous all-white parties were the stuff of celebrity lore. Attendees described them as extravagant, star-studded, and occasionally downright bizarre. But behind the glittering facade, there were whispers, rumors of after-parties so secretive that even Hollywood's elite steered clear. Those whispers turned into roars, with allegations of sex trafficking and racketeering tied to these gatherings, which insiders now call freak-offs.
He was once known for his boisterous personality, often appearing as a fun-loving guy who would host great parties, including his now infamous white party. But since his fall from grace, many who have filed lawsuits against him allege sinister activities were going on behind the scenes. At the center of the government's case against Diddy are his alleged freak-offs, which according to the indictment were elaborate and produced sex performances that Diddy arranged, directed, pleasured himself to, and often electronically recorded. But the freak-offs were first alluded to in Cassie's now settled federal civil lawsuit that was filed in November of last year and settled within a day. In the suit, it says Diddy would repeatedly ask Cassie at random moments that he wanted a freak-off or FO, and she was expected to facilitate the location and hiring of male sex workers. The suit would go on to say during their relationship, the mogul would insist on an FO weekly, which would often take place in hotel suites. It's alleged Diddy would pay to fly male sex workers to his location, which included cities in the United States, and he would require Cassie and his staff to help him make these arrangements.
After a video of Diddy physically Cassie back in 2016 leaked to CNN, other victims realized they could finally get justice. Diddy's victims have started speaking out and detailing the abuse they went through at the hands of Diddy and his co-conspirators. Thalia Graves, one of Diddy's alleged victims, has filed a 26-page lawsuit naming Diddy and his bodyguard Joseph Sherman as defendants.
That woman was visibly emotional during the news conference as she recounted a horrific and violent assault.
The internal pain after being sexually assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words.
Thalia Graves, sitting next to her attorney, Gloria Allred, alleges Sean Diddy Combs and his former bodyguard, Joseph Sherman, drugged and raped her at Bad Boys Record Studio in 2001 when she was 25 years old.
I'm emotionally scarred. It has been hard for me to trust others, to form healthy relationships, or even feel safe in my own skin.
According to the lawsuit filed on Tuesday in New York, Thalia was lured to the studio under false pretenses. She claims she was given a drink spiked with drugs, causing her to pass out. When she woke up, Thalia says she was restrained and being brutally assaulted by Diddy and his bodyguard.
Flashbacks, nightmares, and intrusive thoughts make me feel like it's a constant struggle.
In 2023, Thalia says she found out the rape had been recorded and through the years had been distributed to multiple people.
Defendant Combs and another defendant published and or disseminated the videos without plaintiff's knowledge or consent.
Combs is facing at least 10 similar lawsuits. He remains locked up awaiting trial on human trafficking and racketeering charges.
I'm glad that he is locked up but that's a temporary feeling of relief.
Talia says she didn't go public until now because she says that Combs allegedly threatened to ruin her life if she said anything.
Unfortunately, the allegations don't end here, and it only gets worse. More than 100 new lawsuits have just been filed against Diddy, and almost all of them are related to minors. The new lawsuits were brought by a personal injury lawyer in Houston, Tony Busby, who claims that some of the alleged victims include minors who were abused when they were as young as 9 years old.
Today, Diddy was indicted for sex trafficking and racketeering. We've been warning you, he's just the tip of the iceberg. Today, we're being told a list of Diddy's accomplices will drop very soon. Powerhouse attorney Tony Busby just announced that more than 100 people are filing lawsuits against Diddy and others for sexual abuse. 24 of the victims are minors. One of them as young as 9 years old. Diddy allegedly used the promise of a record deal to lure that young victim to his recording studio, where the child was assaulted by Diddy and several others. Diddy's team says the allegations are meritless, but Busby says his upcoming lawsuits will be naming names.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. The names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels.
This string of lawsuits could shake up the top levels of corporate America and Hollywood. Another lawyer says some of Diddy's secret sex tapes are being shopped around. The tape features an A-list celebrity who doesn't seem to realize they were being recorded.
According to Tony Busby, the lawsuits filed against Diddy include the names of some of the biggest celebrities in the industry and heads of some of the biggest corporations in America. We already know that Diddy was involved in bribing the hotel staff where he stayed with Cassie, and it seems like a lot more of the people involved with Diddy are going to be exposed when a victim tells us that this person was in the room or this person participated. We want to do as much due diligence as humanly possible before we file that case, because in the United States and almost every state, public filings are in fact public. And you know, when you name somebody in a lawsuit, the press is going to pick it up, and we're aware of that, so we're going to make sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's. And I expect that there will be some people named in these lawsuits that will raise some brows. The allegations against Diddy are piling up, and the newly uncovered footage has left his attorney scrambling for answers, with Kim Porter's memoir, shocking tapes, and witness testimonies now in the hands of prosecutors. The truth may finally be catching up to Diddy as more names come to light, and the public demands accountability. One thing is clear: this case is far from over. What do you think about the evidence being revealed? Will justice prevail, or will Diddy's power and influence keep him out of reach? And thanks for watching Celebrity Spill.